Why can't you think in English? You've been learning English for years. You understand grammar. You know hundreds, maybe thousands of words. You do exercises. You watch videos. You listen to podcasts. But still, when it's time to speak, something happens. Your brain freezes. You feel nervous. The words don't come. You try to think in English, but your brain doesn't listen. Instead, it speaks your native language first. It translates, slowly, word by word. You want to say, I'm happy to be here, but in your mind, it starts as, I am happy to be here. By the time you finish, the moment is gone. You feel frustrated. You feel like you know English, but you can't use it. It feels like there's a wall inside your head. A wall between your thoughts and your English. Have you felt this? If you have, you're not alone. Millions of people feel this every day. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear it, this is not permanent. You can break that wall. You can train your brain to think in English. You can stop translating. You can speak with confidence, with fluency, with freedom. And I will show you how. Step by step. Through my story. Through real, simple, powerful methods. This video is not just for listening, it's for transformation. And if you stay with me until the end, I promise, something inside you will shift. Something deep. Because the power is already in your brain, you just haven't unlocked it yet. Let's begin. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stayed silent in a conversation, not because you didn't know what to say, but because you couldn't say it fast enough? You had the words in your mind, somewhere, but they were trapped. Stuck. You felt embarrassed. Maybe you even smiled and nodded, pretending to understand. Pretending you didn't want to speak. But deep inside, you were screaming, I know what I want to say. Why can't I say it? I've been there. Maybe you have too. It's painful. You study English for years. You pass tests. You write essays. But real-life English, speaking it, thinking it, feeling it, is still so far away. You ask yourself, am I not smart enough? Am I too old? Too slow? Let me stop you right there. No, you are not too old. You are not too slow. You are not broken. You are just untrained. Your brain has been thinking in your language for years. Of course it will not change in a few months. Of course it will try to go back to what it knows. That's normal. But it can change. Your brain can learn to think in English. Just like it learned your first language. It takes time. It takes practice. But it is possible. More than possible, it's powerful. I want you to feel what it's like to speak English without fear. Without translation. I want you to feel peace, confidence, joy. That's what we're building together, not just English skills, but a new way of thinking. I want to tell you a story, my story. Because I wasn't always confident in English. I wasn't always free. In fact, for most of my life, I felt trapped. I started learning English when I was a child. I was good at grammar. I got top marks in school. But when it came to real conversations, I froze. Every time. My teacher would ask a simple question, what did you do this weekend? And I would panic. My mind would spin. First, I'd think in my language, what did I do? I went to the park. Then I'd translate each word, I, go. No, went. I went, to, the park. By the time I finished building the sentence in my head, the class had moved on. I felt small. Quiet. Afraid. I told myself, I can read English. I can write. But I can't speak. Maybe that's just how it is. I avoided speaking. I smiled politely. I waited for others to talk. But inside, I wanted to be part of the world. I wanted to join the conversation. I wanted to think and speak freely, like native speakers. Like the people I saw in movies and on YouTube. But that dream felt so far away. Until something changed. One day, something happened. I remember it clearly. I was walking down the street when a tourist stopped me. He smiled and asked, "Hey, do you know where the museum is?" It was a simple question. I knew the answer. I had passed the museum just 5 minutes ago. But in that moment, my brain froze. Completely. I looked at him and tried to find the English words. Museum, is, that, place, I pointed with my hand. I smiled nervously. There. That side. He said, "Thank you," kindly. But I walked away feeling humiliated. I knew I could have done better. I knew I should have answered clearly. But my brain didn't work. It was like trying to run in deep water. Slow. Heavy. Impossible. That night, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, why? Why is this still happening? And I realized, I wasn't thinking in English. I was thinking in my own language and trying to translate. That's what slowed me down. That's what blocked me. It wasn't a problem of knowledge. It was a problem of training. That night, I made a promise: I will train my brain to think in English. Every day. No matter how long it takes. That promise changed everything. But first, I had to understand one thing: how the brain works. I read books. I listened to experts. And I realized something powerful: your brain is a muscle. Not a real muscle like your arms or legs, but it works the same way. If you don't use it, it stays weak. If you use it, again and again, it grows. That's when I saw the problem. I was feeding my brain with my language all day. I watched shows in my language. I thought in my language. I dreamed in my language. Then, for 30 minutes, I studied English and expected magic. But that doesn't work. I realized, if I want to think in English, I have to live in English. I have to surround myself with English. Every day. Every hour I can. I don't need to go to another country. I can do it here. Right now. In my room. In my mind. I needed to stop treating English like a school subject, and start treating it like a lifestyle. That mindset shift was my first real breakthrough. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about changing the language inside my head. So, I began. Not with a teacher. Not with a textbook. But with a decision. I told myself, from today, I will speak English to myself. I will think in English. Even if I sound crazy. Even if I make mistakes. Even if it's hard. I started small. In the morning, I'd say, "Good morning. How do you feel today?" I answered. "I feel tired, but ready to learn." During the day, I would describe things around me. This is my phone. It is black. I use it to text my friends. I didn't wait for perfect grammar. I didn't stop myself. I just kept talking, to myself, in English, every chance I got. It was slow at first. I made mistakes. I forgot words. But something started to happen. My brain became faster. The words came more easily. I didn't have to translate every sentence. I began to think in English. Not all the time. Not perfectly. But more and more each day. It felt amazing. I knew then, this is working. I just need to keep going. Every day, I started with a ritual. I woke up, brushed my teeth, and stood in front of the mirror. Then I talked, to myself, in English. Good morning. Today is Tuesday. I have a lot to do. First, I will make coffee. Then I will write my journal. It was strange at first. I felt silly. But I kept going. I talked about my day. My plans. My feelings. Sometimes I made up stories. Sometimes I repeated the same sentences. But every day, I was training my brain. Giving it new words. New structures. New habits. Slowly, my brain accepted it. English became normal. My thoughts stopped translating. They just flowed. It took time. But it worked. This small habit changed everything. And you can start it today. No tools. No teacher. Just you, your mirror, and your voice. Another method I used was simple, but powerful. I described the world around me in English. I looked at my room. This is a chair. It is old but comfortable. My bag is on the floor. The window is open. Then I talked about myself. I feel hungry. I want to eat rice. I'm thinking about my friend. These were not big conversations. But they were real. They were mine. And they were training my brain to use English naturally. No pressure. No judgment. Just practice. You can do this anywhere, in your home, on the bus, in your mind. Just look, and describe. Look, and speak. Over time, your brain will stop asking for translation. It will just speak. Just like that. Reading became my secret weapon. But not just any reading. I used graded readers, books written in simple English. These books were perfect. They used real stories, real emotions, but easy vocabulary and grammar. Every night, I read one chapter. Slowly. Carefully. I underlined words I didn't know. I guessed the meaning from the story. I read out loud. I imagined the characters. I felt their feelings. And something beautiful happened. I started dreaming in English. Not every night. But sometimes. And when I woke up, I had English thoughts in my head. That's when I knew, my brain is changing. Watching English content is good, but watching with focus is powerful. I chose one video a day. Just one. I played it. Paused it. Repeated it. Shadowed the voice. I didn't just watch, I listened deeply. I copied the rhythm. The music of English. I whispered the words as the speaker said them. I became part of the language. I even started talking to the screen. Asking questions. Answering out loud. It felt like a game. But it was serious training. My ears became sharp. My mouth became faster. And soon, I was thinking in English, without trying. One day, I discovered a technique called shadowing. At first, I didn't understand it. Shadowing? What does that mean? Then I learned. It means listening to a native speaker and speaking at the same time, like an echo, like a shadow. I thought, that sounds difficult. But I decided to try. I chose a short video. I played one sentence. I listened. I pressed pause. I repeated. Then again. Then again. I copied the speaker's rhythm, voice, and emotion. It was hard. My mouth couldn't move fast enough. My tongue felt tired. But I kept going. Every day, I shadowed for 15 minutes. After 1 week, something amazing happened. I started hearing English in a new way. My pronunciation improved. I noticed new sounds. My listening became faster. And the best part? My brain started using the same patterns I was shadowing. When I spoke, I didn't have to think so much. I just said it. I realized that shadowing is not just repeating words. It's teaching your brain how English feels. sounds, lives. If you do it every day, even 5 minutes, your speaking will transform. It's not easy. But it's powerful. And it made me feel alive. Here's a small trick I used, but it made a big difference. I started naming everything around me in English. Every object I saw, every place I walked, I said its name in English, either in my mind or out loud. I woke up, looked around, and said, bed, pillow, blanket, window, curtain. On the way to work, car, tree, sky, street, bus. At the store, bread, cheese, apples, basket, money. It was so simple. Just one word at a time. But it kept my brain active. It kept me thinking in English, not in my language. And slowly, English started to become part of my daily life, not just something I studied in books. This method also helped me grow my vocabulary. I saw something new, didn't know the word in English, so I looked it up. The next time, I remembered it. The more I named things, the more I felt like English was everywhere. It wasn't just a subject. It was a world. My world. And that made me feel stronger. More connected. More fluent. So try it. Right now. Look around you. Say 5 things in English. Don't worry if it's too simple. This is how thinking in English begins, one small word at a time. One of the biggest shifts came when I decided to think in English, not just speak it. We think all day, don't we? We think about what to eat. What to wear. What to say. What to do. And most of that thinking happens silently, inside our heads. So I thought, what if I changed the language of my thoughts? It wasn't easy. My first thoughts were always in my language. But I caught myself. I stopped. And I started again, this time in English. I need coffee. I have a meeting at 10. I feel nervous. Small thoughts. But powerful. At first, I could only do it for a few seconds. Then 1 minute. Then 5. After a few weeks, I noticed something. When I needed to speak, the words were already in English. I didn't need to translate anymore. My thoughts were faster. Lighter. Closer to the surface. That changed everything. Thinking in English, even silently, is one of the best ways to train your brain. You don't need anyone else. Just you, your mind, and your commitment. Start small. One thought at a time. Catch yourself. Correct yourself. You'll be amazed how much this changes your fluency. I started writing a journal in English, just for myself. No one read it. It didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be honest. Every night, before sleep, I opened my notebook and wrote, "Today I felt tired. I worked hard. I made a mistake during a meeting, but I learned from it. Tomorrow, I will try again." Some days, I wrote 2 lines. Some days, a full page. At first, it was slow. I didn't know how to say everything I wanted. But I found a way. I used simple words. Simple grammar. But deep thoughts. I wrote about my fears. My hopes. My dreams. Writing helped me discover my own English voice. It gave me confidence. When you write in English, you're not just practicing words. You're building thoughts. You're building stories. You're building your inner world in English. And that changes the way you think. It connects you to yourself. So if you feel afraid to speak, start by writing. It's safe. It's quiet. But it's powerful. Over time, those written thoughts will become spoken words. Trust me. I lived it. One day, I had an idea. Instead of just thinking or writing, I started asking myself questions, in English. Then, I answered them. How do you feel today? I feel excited but a little nervous. What do you want to achieve this week? I want to improve my speaking. What did you eat for lunch? I ate chicken and rice. It was like having a conversation with myself. I didn't wait for a teacher. I became my own teacher. The questions helped me think faster. They forced me to speak in full sentences. I could feel my brain working, stretching, growing. I did this on the bus, in the shower, before bed. And after a while, it became automatic. Sometimes, I didn't even notice I was doing it. I was just living in English inside my mind. This is one of the best ways to prepare for real conversations. You learn to speak clearly, naturally, without pressure. So try it. Ask yourself 3 questions today, in English. Then answer them. You'll be surprised how powerful this little exercise is. I used to think I had to move to an English-speaking country to become fluent. But I didn't. And you don't either. You can create immersion at home. I turned my phone to English. My computer. My YouTube settings. I followed English creators. I changed my environment. I stopped reading news in my language, I read simple English articles instead. I made English music my background. I made English my habit. My brain started to notice patterns. Words repeated. Phrases became familiar. My world slowly shifted. It wasn't full immersion. But it was enough. I didn't travel anywhere, but English came to me. Because I invited it. That's the secret. If you can't live in an English country, build an English world around you. Use technology. Use your imagination. It's not perfect. But it's real. And it works. One thing that stopped me from thinking in English for a long time was this. I hated making mistakes. Every time I said something wrong, I felt embarrassed. I thought people were judging me. I thought I sounded stupid. But then something happened. I met a friend who was learning my language. And he made mistakes all the time. But I didn't laugh. I didn't judge. I respected him. I was proud of him. That's when I realized, no one cares if I make mistakes in English. People care about connection. About trying. About being brave. So I made a new rule for myself, make one mistake every day, on purpose. It changed everything. I stopped trying to be perfect. I started enjoying English. And when I stopped fearing mistakes, my brain relaxed. The words came faster. Thinking became easier. So please, don't wait to be perfect. You'll never be perfect. Be brave instead. Fall in love with your mistakes. They are your teachers. Your friends. Your path to fluency. Every day, I created small English moments. 1 minute here. 5 minutes there. I called them brain snacks. I didn't wait for big study sessions. I found time in the small spaces. While brushing my teeth, I described my day. While waiting for a bus, I shadowed a podcast. While cooking, I named ingredients in English. These moments added up. At first, they felt small. But after a few weeks, I felt the change. My brain started choosing English first. My thoughts came quicker. My sentences got longer. The key was consistency. Not one big push, but small steps, every single day. That's how habits grow. That's how brains learn. So don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the weekend. Find your English moments today. Right now. They are everywhere. You just have to choose them. There was one more challenge, the emotional wall. It wasn't just about words. It was about fear. Fear of being wrong. Fear of sounding silly. Fear of not being enough. That fear kept my brain in chains. But one day, I decided, I don't care anymore. I want to be free. So I spoke. I made mistakes. I forgot words. But I kept going. And the wall began to break. I stopped worrying about what people thought. I focused on expressing myself. And you know what? People listened. They understood me. They helped me. That's when I realized, English is not about being perfect. It's about being real. About being you. When I accepted that, my brain stopped freezing. My thoughts flowed. I was no longer fighting English. I was living it. And that made all the difference. The final step was the slowest, but the most powerful. I started to replace my mother tongue thinking with English thinking. Not just words, but patterns. I stopped saying, make a photo, and started saying, take a photo. I stopped translating jokes. I learned to feel them. I let English become its own language in my brain, not just a copy of my first language. This took time. Patience. But every day, it got easier. I wasn't just speaking English. I was thinking like an English speaker. And that's the key. You're not just learning a new language. You're learning a new way to see the world. When that happens, fluency becomes natural. Automatic. Alive. At first, it was hard to see my progress. I didn't wake up fluent overnight. There was no magic switch. But slowly, I began to notice small victories. I could order food in English without panic. I could listen to a podcast and understand most of it. I could watch a movie and laugh at the jokes, not 5 seconds later, but at the moment. My journal became longer. My thoughts became faster. And sometimes, I caught myself thinking, wait. I didn't translate that. I just understood it. That's when I knew, something is happening. My brain was changing. The wall was cracking. English was no longer outside me, it was inside me. A part of me. I didn't feel like a student anymore. I felt like someone who lives in English. And that feeling, it was beautiful. It was peaceful. It was worth every moment of struggle. Every awkward sentence. Every mistake. So if you're doing the work, but don't see results yet, trust the process. The change is happening. Even when you don't see it, your brain is growing. And one day, you will feel it too. I remember the exact day. It was early morning. The sun was just rising. I opened my eyes, and a thought came into my head. What time is it? In English. Not translated. Not planned. It just appeared. And then another, I think I have a meeting at 10. I sat up in bed, shocked. I smiled. I whispered, I'm thinking in English. It was the moment I had been waiting for, not because I was perfect, but because my brain had accepted a new language. I didn't force it. I trained it. I fed it. I lived in it. And now, it was alive inside me. That day, I spoke more freely. I felt lighter. My words didn't get stuck. My thoughts didn't freeze. I was finally speaking from thought, not from memory. I had reached the place I dreamed about. And if I can reach that place, so can you. Thinking in English is not just about language. It's about freedom. Imagine going to a job interview and not worrying about each word. Imagine watching a movie and feeling the emotion, without needing subtitles. Imagine meeting someone new and just talking, naturally, calmly, confidently. That's what thinking in English gives you. It gives you connection. It gives you courage. It gives you peace. You don't need to search for every word. You don't need to second-guess every sentence. You speak. You live. You enjoy. It's not perfect, but it's real. And it feels amazing. You're not afraid to talk anymore. You're not hiding. You're growing. You're using the language, not studying it, but owning it. And that confidence starts to spread. It touches other parts of your life. You walk taller. You try new things. 842 Because when you train your brain to think in English, you also train your heart to believe in yourself. Now, I want to speak directly to you. Yes, you. If you've listened this far, I know something about you, you care. You want to change. You're ready. And maybe part of you is still thinking, but I'm not good enough. I've tried before. I always give up. I hear you. I felt the same way. But listen closely, this time is different. Because now, you know the truth. You know that it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up every day. Feeding your brain. Living in English. Creating moments. Making mistakes. Feeling frustrated, and continuing anyway. That's how your brain will learn. That's how your thoughts will change. It's not fast. It's not easy. But it's real. And it's possible. I promise you that. If you give just 1% each day. One sentence, one thought, one journal entry, it will grow. It will add up. And one day, you'll wake up, and you'll hear that little voice inside your head. And it will be in English. Let me be honest with you. This journey will not always feel exciting. Some days, you will be tired. Some days, you will think, I'm not improving. Some days, English will feel like a heavy bag you have to carry. That's normal. That's part of the process. But here's the difference between those who succeed and those who stop. The ones who succeed keep walking. Even when it's boring. Even when it's hard. Even when no one claps for them. They do the work. Quietly. Faithfully. They keep feeding their brain. One word at a time. One sentence at a time. And one day, something breaks open. Something clicks. Suddenly, the struggle becomes flow. The fear becomes freedom. The brain stops fighting, and starts flying. That's the truth. It's not magic. It's not talent. It's daily practice. Simple practice. Real practice. That's how you build a mind that thinks in English. And if you want that, don't stop now. When you start thinking in English, you are not just changing your language. You are changing your identity. You start to see yourself differently. Not just as someone learning English, but as someone who lives in English. You feel proud of yourself. You feel strong. And when challenges come, and they will, you don't run. You face them. You say, yes, this is hard. But I've been through harder. You become someone who doesn't just dream, but does. Someone who speaks. Who listens. Who connects. You start living a new kind of life, more open, more free, more international. And that all starts in one small place, your brain. If you change the language in your mind, you change the direction of your life. Forever. So now, it's your turn. You've heard my story. You've learned my methods. And now, the choice is yours. Will you keep waiting? Or will you start building the brain you want? Not tomorrow. Not next year. Today. Right now. Go to your mirror. Say one sentence in English. Open your journal. Write one feeling. Open YouTube. Shadow one video. Think one thought in English. That's it. Start small. But start now. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. But if you start before you're ready, you'll become ready. You'll grow. You'll change. And one day, someone will ask you, how did you learn to speak so well? And you'll smile, because you'll remember this moment. The moment you decided to train your brain. To live in English. To believe in yourself. I don't know your name. I don't know where you live. But I know something true about you, you are capable of more than you think. Your brain is ready. Your heart is ready. And you have everything you need to begin. Not someday. Today. I believe in you. Because I've been you. And I know that deep inside, under the fear, under the doubt, there is something strong. Something brave. Something unstoppable. Your English journey is not just about language. It's about power. Your power. Your story. Your voice. And the world needs it. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. So go. Take the first step. Speak. Think. Train. Your future is waiting. Before this video ends, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 7 days, live in English for just 30 minutes a day. Talk to yourself. Write in your journal. Watch a video. Read a short book. Think in English. Set a timer. Focus. Be present. At the end of those 7 days, you will feel different. You will feel stronger. And if you continue 30 days, 90 days, 1 year, you won't just feel fluent. You will be fluent. Because fluency isn't something you find. It's something you build. One day. One sentence. One thought at a time. So I ask you, will you take the challenge? Will you train your brain to think in English? I hope you say yes. Because I'm cheering for you. Every step of the way. Let me leave you with one final truth, a sentence that changed my life. If you want your brain to think in English, you must live in English, even if you never leave your room. That is the key. You don't need to move. You don't need to wait. Your brain will believe what you feed it. So feed it English. Speak it. Read it. Listen to it. Think it. Write it. Dream it. Make English a part of your life, and it will become a part of you. You are the builder of your brain. You are the writer of your story. And the next chapter, the English chapter, begins today. So go. Open the door. Walk forward. Think in English. And never look back.